Right. So what page are we on in volume one, right?
21st of June, Rabbi Levitt, Chofetz Chaim.
Okay, so this subsection 3 starts on page 334.
Subsection 3, did you say?
Oh, sorry, I made a mistake. It's subsection 4.
Okay, I'm with you.
We're talking about right now. The Chofetz Chaim is talking about somebody who finds himself through no fault of his own in the presence of a group of people that are speaking Lashon Hara. What should he do? So he says, if he makes an assessment that it's possible that they will that his rebuke of them would have some positive effect, and they would stop speaking Lashon Hara. He's certainly obligated midin Torah to say to them and to tell them that they're speaking Lashon Hara, and the Torah prohibits this, and they shouldn't continue with this talking. And even if his assessment is that it will not be to any avail, if he to silence them from speaking Lashon Hara. Achlo yikalkel gamken al yizeh gam bezeh eino rishai lishtok ki pen yomeru alav ki hu kamohem v'ki hoda al divrayim. Afki is chayav la'anos uligor bam l'kvod noki v'tzadik asher yasichu boy. Okay, flowery Lashon over here from the Chofetz Chaim. Let's try to unravel what he has said over here.
Could you give me the page again, please?
I think it's 334.
334, yes.
And here comes Roy. Okay, let's read this again. Had a few.
Good morning, Rabbi Levitt. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Roy.
And Roy.
Morning.
All right.
I don't know if you're going to discuss it, but what if your assessment is that you might do more damage than good? If you try to rebuke them, they might respond by arguing with you, and I ended up speaking more Lashon Hara.
Yeah, okay, let's take a look and see what he does say over here. So far, he said that even if your assessment is that it's not going to get them to stop, but they're not going to, but it's not going to be makalkel. It's not going to cause a kilkul. Oh, so he says over here explicitly on this what he said in the Birmaim Chaim. He says, "De'im al yidei zeh yosifu ledaber alav yoter v'yoter ein lo lahashivam klal ve'inyan zeh kevin shemitok shuhu mizarzam shelo leganoso he magani moso yoter hu b'chlal ayisaper adam b'shivcho shel chavero le'inyan eichnis naheg oz let's say sidei shemayim ein el." Okay, so so you have a point that if the person that they're speaking about, they don't speak like that about that person, is going to cause them to speak even more about that person. It's not going to stop them, but it's going to cause them to continue to speak more and more about this person. So then what you're doing would fall into the category of praising someone in front of, he says over here, in front of his, in front of his, I guess he means in front of his enemies, which would be Avak Lashon Hora. So if it's a situation like that, so then you should not rebuke them for speaking about about this person, because it's going to cause them to speak even more Lashon Hora about this person, and that's the exact opposite of what you want. So if that is your assessment, so then you should not rebuke them. So he says, but what should you do in such a situation like that? That's he says, I've already spoken about this in Klal Vav, Sif Hey. Let's take a look what it says over there. Klal Vav, Sif Hey.
Which, if anybody got it yet, can you tell me which page?
249, Roy, I think.
Thank you.
It's quite a long. There's quite a long subsection over here, but I guess it's important. So I guess we'll. I can't just pick out from what it says over here to answer you. One sentence. So he says over here, Atanak Zorlin Yinenu, the Mashkasabne Besiv base, the Filu Shmias Lashon Hora who Isser Torah. It's forbidden for a person to even hear Lashon Hora, even if he's not going to believe it. First of all, how you know you're not going to believe it, and second of all, it's usher in and of itself. That means to go and to a place with the intention to hear Lashon Hora. Aval im yoshev b'chaburas anoshim shniskapsu le'inyan ma. If he's sitting amongst a group of people who are gathered for some reason, and so it sounds like he doesn't know that they are known to be a group of people that speak Lashon Hora, but he's just talking about that they gathered together for some reason. Because he says on the bottom that if he knows why it is that they're getting together, they're simply involved. He knows that they got together in order to say words of mockery and degradation and lashon hora about other people. Even though they're initially just eating and drinking, it's absolutely forbidden for him to go there and be in their company. Since he knows that when they're going to start speaking Lashon Hara, then because that's why they got together. So he knows that they're not going to listen to him when to say, don't speak Lashon Hara. They're going to say, what do you mean? That's why we got together. And they're going to get angry at him and speak more. So in such a situation, obviously he's not, we're not talking about that because he should never have gotten into that situation to begin with. What we are talking about in Klal Tes is, he said this in the beginning, that he finds himself through no fault of his own in the company of these people who are involved in speaking Lashon Hara. Okay, but that's just an aside. Okay, so now. But so here in Klal Vav, he's talking about that they didn't come together for that reason, but they just happened to, by the way, it just happens that they start to speak Lashon Hara. So what should he do at that point? So hu mishaer shedivrei tochakto lo yo'ilu lahem mu'uma. And he makes an assessment that his tochaka will not help whatsoever. Totally bazeh. So now it depends. Im ef shaloi leilech mimisi basam. If it's possible for him to just get up and leave, o lahaniach etzbo ba'ozno, or to place his finger in his ear like this, so everybody sees that he's trying to make sure that he doesn't listen to what they're saying. Mitzvah rabahu osa b'zeh. He's done a great mitzvah in getting up and leaving, or putting his finger in his ear. K'mo she'amru Chazal b'ksuvos. Aval im efshar lo lehishamei mesibatam. But if it's not possible for him to get up and leave, u'mishaer ba'atzmo she'etz zu. If he's going to go like this, they're going to start to turn their attention to him and start shaming and embarrassing and mocking him. So then what should he do? He should not do that eitzah of putting his finger in the ear. Akopanim yira oz lizareis et atzmo. But he should galvanize himself. Ulamid al nafsho be'esara kazu, in this difficult, unfortunate situation that he finds himself in. V'lilchom milchamas Hashem im yitzro, and fight a milchama for Hashem against his Yetzer Hara. Kedei shelo yikashel al koponim be'isr deraisa shel shmias v'kabolas lashon hara. They shouldn't fall into an isser of hearing or believing lashon hara. Ulazet sorich shlosha pratim shizaher behen ma'od. And there's 3 conditions over here. V'yinatzel al yidei zeh al koponim me'isr Torah sheyesh ba'avon hanal, for him to be able to escape violating these isurim. Number 1, yachlit benapsho beheskem gomur shelo lahamin la'divrei genus shemesaprim al kevrehem. He should make a decision and a promise to himself that he is not going to believe anything that he hears about that they're talking over here. Base lo yeh nichale b'shmias sipureihem v'asurim ha'ela. He shouldn't feel any satisfaction as a result of hearing these things that are being said about Ploni. Number 3, gam yam mid al atzmo shelo laharos. he should make sure that he does not show in any way before the people that are speaking shum tenua sheyera'eh bimena shehu maskim l'divreihem. Should make no sign of and certainly no words, but even not a sign on his face that he agrees with anything that they are saying. Ak yeshev ke'even doimim. He should sit there like a rock. Yuchal haros. In other words, totally. Rabbi Miller used to say, like the bottom of a frying pan. You know what the bottom of a frying pan looks like. Not the one that you buy in the store right away, but after it's been used for a few years. It's not very expressive, the bottom of a frying pan. V'im yuchal laharos lifneyem panim nizavim. But if he could show a face pleasure, she'avinu mimenu shehu eino maskim ledivreihem hahavalim, doesn't agree to their words of folly and vanity, v'vadai hu tov yoter. That would be even better than having the face of the bottom of a frying pan. It would be better to be expressive and be able to express his displeasure in the fact that they are speaking Lashon Hara. Okay, so that's what you should do if you make an assessment that you won't be able to not only that by speaking words of rebuke to them, they will only, it'll come out a kilkul. It'll come out even worse. But right now in Klal Tes, we are in the middle of the Chofetz Chaim telling us, what if it won't come out a kilkul, but they just won't listen? So then that's another scenario. And in that case, what should be done? Now, I'm in Rechilas. I have to go to Lashon Hara. Yeah. He's not allowed to be quiet in this case. He cannot be quiet in this case because they might think if he's quiet that he agrees with what they're saying. And he acknowledges it. And he thinks it's proper to say, Chas v'shalom, that he should give them that impression. Afki yischayev la'anos u'ligor behem l'kvod noki v'tzadik asher yasichu bo. Rather, he is obligated to answer back and to ligor behem. Now, ligor behem, it's oftentimes translated. I'd be interested to see how they translate it in the art scroll. It's often translated, this word ligor, to yell, to holler at them. Or maybe perhaps it just simply means to, yes, rebuke them. But if so, then they should have used the word lohol chiach, which doesn't necessarily mean to yell and holler. Chiach means to point out to someone in no uncertain terms that what they're doing is an avera, that the Torah or the Rabbanan aser, and that they should desist from doing so. Mm-hmm. But legoar behem is admittedly a stronger lashon than that. He says that's the lashon that he's using over here, and of course this is with the proviso, like we said, that it's not going to cause a kilko. It's not going to cause them to speak more. If it is going to cause them to speak more, so then so then he would not be allowed to do that. But nevertheless, that's what he says over here, that if it won't cause a kilkul, even if he accepts to stop talking about him, but they're just continuing, they're not going to add on and be even more vociferous. In that case, he's obligated to speak up and even ligor behem. L'kvod noki v'tzadik, for the honor of the clean and the righteous one that they are speaking about. V'zeh echad min advarim asher yischayev la'azov avur zeh chevras harishoyim. This is one of the reasons why one is obligated to forsake the company of Rishoyim. Ki ye'anesh v'shamoy es divreihem v'yila la'anoson. Because he will be punished for listening to their words and refraining from answering back what they are doing.
Mhm.
My English says Lagor means to reprimand.
Okay, there you go. If you do a little bit of research, and you'll see that oftentimes it's translated otherwise. I often I have to do some research on my own on that matter to see in the Gemara how the Gemara understands, how the Meforshim and the Gemara understand that word. Because I believe it means a little bit more forceful than simply being mochiach. Okay. That's how they translated it. Fine. Now we're up to Sifkat and Hay. V'da, de'afilu im shoma livnoi ubitoi haktanim, shehem medabrim lashon hora. Mitzvah ligoar behem, ula hafrisham mizeh. Kidiksiv, chanoch lenar al pi darko. Moshe nisbayer, or Chaim, le'inyan kol isurim shebatorah. And says the Chofetz Chaim, you should know, even if one hears his little children, girls or boys, either way, we're not playing favorites, even though they're under the age of bar mitzvah. So technically speaking, there's no fallout for them to do an avera, but if they're speaking lashon hara, it is a mitzvah legoar behem, to reprimand them, and not only to do that, la'afrisham mizeh, to separate them from doing this speaking of lashon hara, and that is part of the pasuk in Mishlei, the famous pasuk of Chanoch Lenar. This is called Chinuch Bonim, to bring up your children in a way that when they get older, they will be faithful performers of Torah and mitzvahs. So I assume over here also they translate the word as reprimand them.
Yes.
Okay.
As an interest, matter of interest, in the dictionary of the modern Hebrew, it says scold them, which is a bit stronger than telling off.
Yeah.
To scold them.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's true that the main purpose of the reprimand is to is to see that they stop doing what they're doing, and oftentimes everybody knows. I mean, nobody likes to be spoken to in a way of being yelled at And so oftentimes it won't have the desired effects. It's possible, and since it's certainly possible to. I mean, in the halachas of tochacha, it's recommended to the first time that the person gives tochacha, to give the tochacha in a way of with soft words, with words of not harsh words, etc., etc., like we saw in the Peleiotes. Okay. Oh, now this is there's a note over here, Hago, on the bottom, all about the what a father's obligation is over here in regard to his children. Kama tzorich ha'av lahadrich es bonav tamid mina rusam. How a father, so much as a father required to guide his children always, even from their a young age, the inyan shmiras halashin bilashon hara, in the matter of not speaking lashon hara, kiyotz bezeh shar diburim asurim, as well as other prohibited forms of speech, such as words of machlokes or words of sheker. Kamosha kosava hagra. This is what the Gra wrote in one of his letters to his family. Ki adibor v'amidos tzorich hergel rav. When it comes to speech, when it comes to matters of midos and way that a person conducts himself, it needs to be drum into them. Hergo, they need to be accustomed, very much so, to do the right thing and not do the wrong hanhaga. By hergel al kol davar shilton. Oh, it's interesting. I think what he means to say over here is that the fact that the person is accustomed to doing something in a certain way, that will be sholate, that will control his behavior, and over and above the wiles and the seductions of the Yetzer Hara. Ube'emes asher nisbonin heitev nimsa shesibas pirtzas ha'avon amar shel lashon hara hu mipnei shekol echad urgal minarusoi l'daber mashehu rotze be'ein moche. Certainly, if we think about the matter very well, we will come to the conclusion that the reason why there is such a pirza, a breach in regard to this matter that people speak, lashon hara, is because people got accustomed to doing this when they were young, and no one told them not to do it. Ve'ein mala al dato sheyesh chashash iser b'davar. And it didn't occur to anybody that this was something that was forbidden. Ulakach afilu im achar kach nodalo sheyesh iser b'davar kasher lo ma'od lintos mitivo hate'ua lo mi'oz. Even when he finds out later, when he grows up, that this is usher, it's very, very difficult to uproot a bad habit. Lokain im haya av mazhir tamid es bonov umargilam bezeh min arusam shelo ledaber lashon hara. Lokain shelo lekalel ushelo lechazev. And now he adds in more things. Also not to be makalel, to call names to people, to say improper things to them, and to say things which are deceitful words. Al Shum Bar Yisrael. Memela hayadavar zeh netua b'nafsham mitzad hahergel. So this is the idea of the chinuch, that the matter becomes implanted in the child, and he becomes accustomed that this is not acceptable behavior, and his father, and also his mother, I assume, are seeing to it that he doesn't get accustomed to doing things that are usher. So then it becomes much easier to rein himself in and completely observe this holy conduct of not speaking improper words. And they will be zocha, because on this account, to olam haba. And not only that, but all good things in this world as well. Moshe Nemar, mi ha'ish, ha-Chofetz Chaim. Who is the man that wants life? We should look up that pasuk. It's a pasuk Tehillim Lamed Daled Yud Gimel. Mi ha'isha Chofetz Chaim. Probably you know the rest of the pasuk because it's become a very popular song.
What's the citation again, please?
Tehillim Lamed Daled Yud Gimel. Chapter 24, verse 13.
Did you say Lamed Daled?
Yeah, 34.
34.
And what was the verse again, please?
13.
34:13.
We say that, I think, on Shabbat, don't we? We say that on Shabbat.
Zimra, Pesukei de Zimra,
Yeah, on Shabbat.
on Shabbos, yes. Shabbos or Shabbos, and there's the rule. and which, sorry, which, oh, where we are. And what,
4:13.
uh, 34 what?
13.
13.
Yeah,
Okay.
here it's on Shabbat. Yeah.
Oh, this kapitel we say Shabbos morning in Pesukei de Zimra.
Of David. Mm-hmm.
Right. Mi ha'isha Chofetz Chaim. Who's the man that desires life? Ohev yomim liros tov. Who loves his days, and he wants to see good ones.
Mm-hmm.
What is this word mirma?
Nitzor l'shonchai meira. Guard guard your tongue from evil, usvasecha, and your lips from speaking mirma. Mirma is generally translated as words of deceit. The shorish of the word mirma is like we say Lavan is a Ramai. Lavan is a deceitful con artist that tricks people with his words. So we and then after that, it says other things as well. Sur meira, depart from doing evil. Vasei tov, and do good things. Bakei shalom, seek peace. Radfeu, and not only seek it but run after it. Because this is really the way that one can seek peace and run after it is by watching what he says with his mouth.
You also get long life. It says here,
Yeah, right.
the Baal Shem Tov taught that every person is allotted a given number of words during his life, and that when he has used up his quota, he dies. Thus, by guarding his tongue, he assures himself of greater longevity.
Oh, but what if he speaks words of Torah?
That's not included. It isn't. I asked about that once. I think I actually asked you long time ago. Long time ago.
Yeah.
But, if I was you or whoever it was, said there's no limit to the words of Torah.
It says in the Pirkei Avos, Marba Torah, Marba Chaim. If a person speaks more and more and more words of Torah, he increases Chaim. Okay. And anyway, so yeah, so that's this famous pasuk. And so let's see. Okay, so that's Hey. And now we got, in 1 minute, we've got the last Sif Katan Vav. Ha'omer l'chavero eze davar, aselo l'saper achar kach l'acherim. Ela, in kain, nosen lo rishus, al zeh, v'davka imhu davar, d'leisbei, lishna bisha. So Omer l'chavero eze davar. The one that says to his friend, eze davar, a certain matter. I think what he means over here is it could be anything. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a secret. You're not allowed, the listener is not allowed to go ahead and tell other people about this, what he was told. Unless the speaker told him, I give you permission to say this over to other people.
What about a person's age? Let's say I know how old a person is, and somebody asks me, how old is he? Is that
Oh.
considered to be private information that I should not share because I have not asked the person if he permits me to tell people?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It from what I see from this Chofetz Chaim, it's not restricted to something like how old somebody is, which oftentimes people are. It's known, right? It's known that some people, perhaps more than some people, are particular about other people knowing how old they are.
Right.
Yes, isn't that something that's general knowledge?
I think so.
So I'm pointing out over here that I don't even see any hint of the Chofetz Chaim talking about if it's something that people generally are very particular that they don't want other people to know about. So then you're not allowed to tell it over. He didn't say that. All he said was that if somebody tells you something, you're not allowed to say it to somebody else unless he told you you could say it to somebody else.
It says here personal
So that's
information.
that is quite a wide-ranging prohibition. What you can say to other people about what this person told you.
Mhm.
What do they say on the note there? They say any notes about this?
It says personal information.
They interpret it that it's personal information.
Yeah. It's prohibited, and a prohibition against revealing private information was mentioned above in Col 2, Sif 13, and is also discussed in Hilchos Rechilus 8:5. The Chofetz Chaim Ber Mayim Chaim 227 explains that this prohibition applies only if revealing information is liable to cause Reuven damage, or if Reuven relayed the information in confidence, indicating that he does not want it to be shared with others. Otherwise, there's no actual prohibition restricting a person from relating information about a friend. However, it is considered virtuous to refrain from doing so unless granted explicit permission. Well, that makes it a bit different, more difficult.
I had a disagreement one time. Somebody asked me how old somebody was, and I said, I don't think it's proper for me to say.
Mhm.
And the person said, why not? And I said, well, because it's personal information. Maybe the person doesn't want it known. And my friend responded and said, "Oh, I'm sure it's okay. I'm sure he doesn't mind." And I said, "How can you possibly know that?"
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think that it's something that I think so. I think so.
Well, it's certainly personal information.
Right, but it's
And why does this person need to know it in any case?
curious.
Is there some necessity that he needs to know it?
I don't think so. She was just curious to know how old this person was.
Yeah.
Let's say though that she did have a toelis.
Maybe she wanted to think of him as possibly marrying him as a part or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's
something.
something.
He had a toelis. Would I then tell, or
Yeah.
would I say I still don't know if I should tell you?
Well, generally, when a person is asking for information on a shidduch, he has to, it has to be clear that that's what he's doing. And so therefore, he's got a right to know how old the person is. That's a
But
fair
this-
question.
This is not a shidduch. This is a potential shidduch. She says, I'm thinking maybe of trying to match somebody with Plony. How old is Plony?
Oh, okay. So that's right. But yeah. So she doesn't know even whether this. Yeah, that's a good question already. Now, that's a good question because times there are situations where two people are talking to one another about a shidduch, and neither one, and they're talking about Beryl getting being introduced to Sprinza, and Beryl doesn't know that they're talking about him, and Sprinza doesn't know that they're talking about him either, her either.
Right.
And maybe they're not interested in them talking about them and revealing all sorts of personal information about them to this person, just because maybe he's thinking that maybe it might be a good shidduch. That's I don't know. I don't know if that's I don't know. Do we say that in such a case like that? Well, that's called I'm trying to help. I mean, I'm presumably, if Beryl would be presented with a nice, if we know that Beryl is interested in getting married, and we know that Sprinz is also interested in getting married, and we know that therefore that they would welcome an introduction. I still don't know that maybe there's certain things that they don't want and they're not required that other people know about in order to do the shidduch.
Maybe you could say,
and the fact that somebody says,
30s.
"Oh, I'm making a shidduch," they're allowed to say anything they want about them. It's not so pashut.
Maybe you could say, "Oh, in the early 30s or mid 50s or something like that." It could be not precise, but given an idea in such a case.
Okay, perhaps.
What about if I'm concerned that I don't want to get in an argument with this person, if I just lie and I just say I don't know, even though I do know?
Oh, so you're allowed to lie to avoid getting into an argument with the person?
Yeah, I'm afraid if I say
it's generally a better thing to do than to try to figure out, like, oh, sorry, I gotta catch a bus. Sorry, I'll talk to you later. Bye. Don't. It's a last resort. It's a last resort. If there's no way, and generally there's so many possibilities to be able to avoid having to lie.
Right.
Especially if the information comes out, she could find from somebody else, and then she'd come back to you and say, "Why'd you lie to me?" You could start a machlokes like that.
Right.
Not so clear that you're even avoiding machlokes by lying.
Oh, it's really late.
Okay, we're keeping Mayor here. Imprisonment.
Oh,
Charge.
yeah. It got late. Oh, look at that. Okay. Very good.
All the best, Mayor.
Very good. Okay, have a good day, everyone.
You too, Mayor.
Hey.
Thank you.
Do we read the summary? Oh, after next time or not?
Yeah, you could read next time the summary. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. I'll put my bookmark there.